All right, y'all. We didn't already talked about episode 1, episode 2, the beginnings, of Mr. McMahon, the beginnings of WWF, the beginnings of WrestleMania, Hulkamania, steroids, all this good stuff. The first referee woman that we never heard about. We learned a lot in those couple episodes. I feel like that's where I learned the bulk of my information as far as Mr. McMahon in those first couple episodes. Once we got to episode 3, the Screwjob, and episode 4, the Attitude Era, that was around the times that I lived through wrestling. So a lot of that information wasn't new. A lot of that information wasn't taboo. It was just, clearing up on some things, getting a little bit more backstories of what we have heard in the past. But since it is a Screwjob episode, I'm gonna go ahead and start off with something that surprised me, bro. And me knowing you so far, bro, I feel like we probably got the same thing on here.
Okay.
And I'm gonna test it out. My first bit of notes that I had was the first Screwjob was not Bret Hart.
Correct. Yep.
The
It
first
was
Screwjob was
Wendy
not
Richter.
bingo. Bingo. That's why I say, bro, it was a couple things watching the documentary that I learned. I never knew that the first Screwjob was Wendy.
I never heard about this either. So basically what happened is it was a very similar situation. I think everybody knows the Bret Hart screw job by now. I think if you're a wrestling fan, that's kind of just like in like the the wrestling book 101. So
Yep.
I think everybody should know that. Let's just talk about what happened with Wendy Richter real quick. So apparently now we're also hearing this from Vince. Now she was also in the documentary, so she gave her kind of her 2 cents about it as well. But basically what happened was, she didn't want to drop the title. So Vince said basically, well, I'm going to make her drop the title. She doesn't own that title. I do. My company, you know what I mean? My
Pure
title.
Vince.
That's it. So he basically went to say she wasn't going to drop the title. I'm going to make her drop the title. I guess him and the ref, and I don't even know who her opponent was, to be honest with you.
Yeah, me neither, bro.
I don't even know if they mentioned it. But they were in on it, and Vince made the ref count to 3 on a roll-up real quick. Wendy kicked out at 1.
At 1.
At 1. She said it was the most embarrassing moment in her career. And I thought this was also interesting too, right? Because Vince is just a pure businessman. So he goes on and he says he didn't care about the uproar from the fans, but he did care enough about the fans to not cancel the match. He didn't want people to go to the event, spend their hard-earned money,
and not get
the match. So instead, he waited for it to be in the ring, and I think everybody, and he made the decision on the spot. And I think this is also just like a little tying knot into the whole theme of this whole documentary on just how Vince is just a pure businessman.
Yeah.
Not so much. Yes, he did have his wrestlers that he, I think,
he catered to.
He catered to and he cared about and stuff. But as far as just run of the mill, if he wanted something, he's going to get it done. And it was purely business.
You know what was funny about that, bro, is that I'm learning that a lot of some of the things that we learned about Vince later on because of this documentary or that was, brushed under the rug had to deal with women.
Yeah.
From the first referee.
Yep.
Most of us didn't know about that.
Correct.
From the Wendy screw job. Most of us didn't know about that. You know what I'm saying? So it doesn't make him look good when it comes to like all of these other like NDAs and he had to pay this like that just seemed like that's how Vince rolled, especially when it comes with women. You know what I'm saying? So I did find that, that was kind of weird. What was something else that you got from the Screwjob episode?
Well, it also kind of, we already, went past the whole steroid stuff. But it did, touch on just like the verdict itself. Obviously, Vince was found not guilty. We already talked about how, Hogan stood up for him when he testified. He basically reached out to Vince, I guess, beforehand and said, hey, if we're all in on this, that means we're also if we're going to go all out on this as well. So,
facts.
He had his back during that. And then pretty much it basically segued right into kind of the beginning of the Bret Hart story. And
Mm-hmm.
originally, when Hulk was gone and WCW took him, they basically tried to make Lex Luger the top guy.
I remember seeing the Lex Luger A&E documentary, bro. And that's where I felt like that's what helped me understand a lot of the stuff that I watched. Because again, like even when they talked about the Iron Sheik, I remember watching the Iron Sheik documentary when they had the whole Lex Luger. Like had I not watched the Lex Luger documentary, I would have not known that Lex Luger was supposed to replace Hulk Hogan. But then like his attitude that he didn't want to do, a lot of and that's why I feel like you still need to go outside of the Vince McMahon documentary to go ahead and watch some of these A&E biographies, and then you will understand why Lex Luger didn't become the next Hulk Hogan. It wasn't because he wasn't physically fit or he didn't have the attitude that Hulk Hogan had. He didn't have the go getter. Lex Luger didn't want to get off the bus and sign autographs for the kids and etc. And then they showed him going to WCW, but then again, like it's so many missing pieces
Yep.
to these puzzles if you do not know, wrestling, if you don't know the history of wrestling. Like you could have gotten lost in the sauce with a little bit of
Yeah,
this that
definitely.
was going on.
Yeah. It definitely jumped around a little bit too much, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Like you said,
Too much, bro.
a lot of missing pieces. Just to touch on that real quick, as I think it's very different from today's standards. I think that back then, those really top guys that, are at a whole different level than everybody else, I think, they're trying to make, Dusty originally the top guy. Then they try to make
Mm-hmm.
Lex Luger the top guy. I think back then it was so much harder for them to replace the talent and get fans to buy into to new
Mm-hmm.
guys, where now it's just you're a cog in the wheel, right? It's just ever evolving and ever changing, and
It still depends, bro.
I think there's
It
like
still
like we
depends.
just
I say it's easier now to make a star. It's easier now to
yes.
make a star now than it
Yes.
was back in the day.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Like a Hulk Hogan, like you didn't really have a lot of main. Like that's why Hulk Hogan literally main evented like the first 9 WrestleManias.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? They I mean Roman Reigns and damn near did it too.
So
You know.
so there right now, there's people that are obviously unreplaceable, but I think that like we actually if you just watched another one of our videos, we kind of broke down into something different. I think that the talent pool is so good now that it can carry an entire show instead of having one main attraction, if
It
that
can
makes sense.
carry, bro. I'm looking for that aura, bro. You know what I'm
Oh, yeah,
saying?
that's a different I
Who
think that's a different
who right now, Dylan? Who right now has a Hulk Hogan aura? Nobody. No way.
dude, yes,
No.
yes.
Who has a
I think
Stone
his
Cold era?
I think his 3-year run and the storyline that the Bloodline has had for the past 3 years is the greatest storyline in the history of the company. It's
Rome.
so involved,
Okay.
it's so in-depth, it's hey, they wanna use the word cinema. It is so involved, man.
That's so
I don't think
are
we
we
had a
saying
storyline
story
like that
are
in the
we saying
history.
storyline, are we talking story? If we want to say one of the best storylines in a very long time, bro,
Yeah.
it's definitely the old OG bloodline
Yeah.
storyline. Damn near could be top 3, bro.
Yeah.
Like only other storylines that I can think of if people would say is just like monumental is Vincent, Vincent and Stone Cold. That was a storyline. You know what I'm saying? Um Hulk Hogan, Hulk Hogan and Macho Man. I feel like with Miss Elizabeth was more of a storyline than Hulk Hogan and Andre. That was like a one-off thing. And we
Mhm.
talking storylines,
Yeah.
Roman may have the number one
I think he does.
if we talking storylines. But if we talking auras, if we
Yeah, but
talking
there's
about an
guys that
aura,
have
bro,
there's
I
guy
don't know.
it's different. I
Not
think
yet.
it's no, I think it's
Not
so
yet.
different from back then. Yes, you had Hulk, you had The Rock, you had Stone Cold, but now you have guys that trickled in after I think the main
John Cena is
hottest
the last one.
no, I think you had guys that have aura that trickle in past that prime wrestling era.
Give me
Ce
three.
Cena,
That's no,
Lesnar.
not
Come
Lesnar.
on, man.
Not Lesnar.
No, man. No,
Not
Dylan.
Lesnar.
Lesnar.
Dylan, not Lesnar.
When
We talking.
Lesnar
We gotta
came
talk
when Les
longevity too.
Dude, when Lesnar came back in 2012 from the UFC,
It
it
was
has to
big. Don't get me wrong,
it's
bro.
one of the most monumental shifts during
So,
that
so you can
time.
say CM Punk coming back at Survivor Series was just as big as Brock Lesnar coming back.
Yeah?
CM Punk changed. Honestly, CM Punk's AEW return to me is bigger than his WWE return. I felt like
Man,
his
that's a whole
WWE
different
return
topic.
was, and I got a little bit of salt in my
Oh, man.
womb for that because I was supposed to have went to that Survivor Series, bro. I had
Okay.
a chance to go to that. I'm like, I'm cool. I'm not
Yep.
gonna go. I'm not gonna go to Survivor Series. Then bam, and I was so okay with not going to Survivor Series after War Games. It was over with. We seen the credits at the end. I'm like, okay. Then I heard that.
Cult of personality, man.
So if we want to talk aura, then I would say CM Punk's return to WWE.
Dude, like I said, there's guys, though. You cannot deny that there's guys since then, since the prime
We've
time of,
had some good guys, Dylan.
that's what I'm
Yeah, we've
saying.
had
Yeah.
we've had some good guys. We've had some, but are they great though, bro? Are they Hulk Hogan, Stone Cold, John Cena? These are Mount. I cannot put Brock Lesnar on Mount Rushmore.
I'm not talking about, yeah, but that's a whole different conversation. We're
But
talking
that's an
about
aura, though,
aura.
right?
No, aura's different. Aura is a certain character that when the guy walks in the room, you feel a certain way. When Lesnar walked in the room in 2012, you felt like
It changed.
this guy is a
It
legitimate
changed. It
badass.
changed for a
Yes,
little bit. It changed for
yes.
a little bit.
That's aura to me. That if you want to define aura differently, I think that's a different conversation. But I
Maybe
think
I'm thinking. Maybe I'm looking at top guy.
I'm not
Maybe
talking
that's what
about
I'm
top guys.
thinking about. Maybe that's what I'm. But
Yes, I
if
think
we talk about aura, then okay.
I
Then
think
I
we're
got you.
talking
I
about a
see that
different.
ram. But I'm
Yeah, I
thinking
think
about like
we're.
a top guy, bro.
Yeah. No, top guys, you're right. You're absolutely right. Since Cena, I mean, yeah, Roman Reigns right now is the top guy, but it's different than when like from Cena's run. I mean, you're talking over a decade
Yeah,
run where the guy
Cena got the best run of ever, bro.
he
No,
I
nobody's touching Cena.
that's why I put him as I think
Yeah,
my greatest of all time.
see, and you kind of changed me up on that. And
Yeah.
not to go on tangent, when y'all over here at Run the Ropes meeting, we gonna run y'all around the ring. We might start at the left corner and 5 minutes later be on the right corner, but we
Yeah.
gonna always get back to the middle of the ring, okay? But with that said, like you changed me a little bit with that thought process, bro. You
Mhm.
did because like Stone Cold he's always been the GOAT. He will
Yeah.
always be the GOAT, bro. But he might have to share that title
It's
with John Cena, bro, because
it's
nobody put in the years.
so,
Nobody, I'm
the
talking about
problem.
simultaneous, bro, like
Yep.
straight through, no breaks. You might have got injured here or there.
Yeah.
But Cena had a decade and a half, bro.
That
Cena got it.
Cena's the GOAT. And it's so crazy to think about that The Rock and Stone Cold both were in the company for during their prime, was
So
in there
little amount of
for
time,
such a
bro.
short amount of time,
I
man.
tell my wife that I'm like Stone Cold only was really on top for like 2 years,
Yeah,
bro.
man.
From like 97 to 99 was Stone Cold, bro.
Yeah.
When he came back from injury after
Yep.
Rikishi hit him, that wasn't the same Stone Cold,
No.
bro. It
No.
it, it, it didn't give it didn't give us Stone 97 through 99 is prime Stone Cold.
Yep.
Prime Rock is 2000 to 2001.
Yeah.
These 1 to 2 years,
It's
Cena was on top for
yeah.
15 years,
That's
bro.
what I'm saying, yeah. It has to be an account. It's not even, it's
It has
that
to,
that
bro.
has to be the deciding factor.
Cena's
It's
either one or
nobody
two.
has had a run of
Nobody.
longevity longer than that guy.
Nobody, bro.
Nobody.
No. I think John Cena had a better run than Hulk Hogan.
Yeah, that
As far as
yes.
Hulkamania, it wouldn't be no C Nation if it wasn't for Hulkamania. I
No.
will give you that. But what
Nope.
you say, just because you first,
Doesn't mean you're the
don't
best.
mean you is the best. All right, let's jump back on topic, bro.
Alright. Man,
Hey,
that
smash
could have
that
been a
thumbs
whole
up,
video in
y'all.
itself too.
Smash that thumbs up, man. Y'all not gonna get any other type of content like this anywhere else, y'all. Smash
Yep.
that thumbs up, man. What else? What else did I take from it, bro? I just put the new generation. And what I meant
Yeah.
by new generation, it was no longer Hulkamania was taking over the company. It was
Nope.
almost like, the ring is up for grabs.
Yep.
Who's gonna be that, that next big, and I'm talking about once, Lex Luger went over there to WCW, like, but that's the reason why WCW was kind of on top, because they WWE didn't have a personality, bro.
Nope.
It was Doink the Clowns and Dukes the dumpster, and Kane as the dentist guy.
Yep.
Like it was terrible.
Yeah, it
It
was.
was terrible wrestling, bro. It was just, it was all characters.
Yeah, and that's kind of where, you know, it kind of picked up too, right? In the doc was I actually thought it was crazy too, um, considering that even Vince said like he never actually had legit contracts with a lot of the guys,
Mm-hmm.
and they were all like handshake deals, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And that's how basically WCW was getting away with bringing a
Yep.
lot of the talent over
Yep.
because WWE, well, F at the time, thought, okay, well, we got this guy, this guy, this guy. All of a sudden, you're seeing them on different shows. They're like, where the hell
Mm-hmm.
are these guys going? Well, they never actually had contracts. That's why.
That man Vince was hurt too, boy.
Oh, yeah.
Seeing them wrestlers, like seeing them wrestlers pop up on, like I think Lex Luger probably surprised him and hurt him like the most, bro.
Yep.
Because like that was literally out of left field. Like they already knew Kevin Nash and Scott Hall was leaving, knew Hulk Hogan was leaving, knew Bret Hart was leaving.
Yep.
But Lex Luger popping up out of nowhere, bro, it probably just like, damn,
Facts, man.
it's getting real out here. It's getting
Yeah.
real.
And not only that, but Eric Bischoff was just a complete menace. I
Yeah.
mean, the guy was going on the air at the start of the WCW shows and literally ruining the entire card of
Yeah.
WWF. I mean, you
Bro,
talk
that's
about
so petty, bro.
diabolical.
That is so petty, bro. And on top of that, man, the amount of bread he was paying these
Yeah.
wrestlers. Well, Ted Turner. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? And I wrote down, I said that, did Vince get Vince when WCW took their wrestlers? And it's happened.
Yeah, he
He
did.
got Vince.
Yep.
Vince got Vince, and then he low key was crying about it.
Absolutely.
Cause he tried to say like, "Oh, that's not business." They like, Eric Bischoff is trying to ruin my business.
Well,
He's trying to ruin my business. I,
yep.
I was just being a competitor. I was being a competitor. He's
Yeah.
literally trying to ruin my business. But Vincent put out plenty of businesses, and
Oh,
if you
yeah.
know how this story ends, Vince puts out plenty of businesses. All right,
All the
so
businesses.
yeah, man.
But
Vince,
Vince actually
he got Vince.
Vince actually sued WCW for that. He
Mm-hmm.
legitimately sued WCW for stealing talent and using intellectual property. I mean, where was this when he was taking over all the territories? You know what I mean? It's kind of the same
Yeah,
thing, right? You build up a
one
star and
hundred
all of a
percent the
sudden
same
you take
thing.
them. So
100% the same thing.
and then yeah, man. So basically, next up in the doc was pretty much the whole Scott Hall, Kevin Nash going to WCW, and their very
Breaking
final,
kayfabe, man.
their
Breaking
very
kayfabe.
final event.
It's a couple good things that came out of the whole curtain call thing,
Yeah,
bro. And if you know who my favorite wrestler of all time is, like, if it wasn't for certain events to have taken place, we wouldn't have certain stars. Had Triple H not have gotten punished, because Shawn Michaels was about to be the top guy. Oh,
yeah,
he was already top guy. He was a
yep.
champion, so Shawn wasn't gonna get punished. Scott Hall, Kevin Nash, they gone. Triple H got punished. He was supposed to win the King of the Ring. He didn't win the King of the Ring.
You don't,
And the
you don't,
greatest of all time
you don't have
wind up
Austin
winning. You do
316
not.
if Triple H
You
ends up
do
winning that
not
Royal
have
or King of the
Austin
Ring.
316
Yep.
if Triple H was to have won the King of
We
the
both
Ring that
said the
year.
same thing. Yeah.
And even with that being said, Triple H still won the King of the Ring a couple years later.
Yep.
But it was time. It was time for Stone,
It's
bro.
it's crazy. I mean, you're talking about, Stunning Steve could have still been Stunning Steve. You know what
Terrible, bro.
you know what I
Terrible.
mean? Yeah,
Terrible,
how
man.
crazy that
And
timeline could have been shifted with one thing. So basically, we'll get back into that, but how the whole thing happened was which I this is another part of the doc where I actually did not know because I always thought it was something they did on their own. But Sean actually got approval from Vince. Vince
mm-hmm.
actually okayed the curtain call.
Yeah.
And which was super taboo back then because of kayfabe. If you don't know what
Mm-hmm.
kayfabe is, you should. If you're a wrestling fan watching this, but basically just meaning that you were protecting the business as well as the character. and you're not supposed to intermingle good guys with bad guys and stuff like that, especially on screen or at any
Mm-hmm.
events. So they were in the ring at the end of the event, and they all did their famous hug with the click. And basically, like you said, what happened out of that is a lot of the guys in the back were very upset. So Vince had to come up with some type of punishment, and Triple H kind of just fell on the sword because, like you said, Shawn was the guy at the time,
Yep.
couldn't punish Shawn. So Triple H ended up falling on the sword. Now, here's an interesting tidbit of it.
I think we're
Bret
gonna say the same thing. Go ahead.
Bret Bret Hart said that it killed wrestling that night, and it ruined kayfabe, and it ruined the mystique and the magic behind the wrestling because it peeled back the curtain too much.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, you're telling me back then people didn't know. You know what I mean? Like not
And people
everybody.
already knew, bro, and
People,
that's why they was choking out and smacking people because they already knew in the
yeah,
'80s, you know what wrestling was.
yep,
So I think what Triple H said was the reason why Triple H is sitting in the spot that he's sitting in right now.
yep,
He was like, that was the loudest ovation that they had gotten all night. He
yep,
was like, Vince, listen, like the industry is changing.
yep,
We got to change with the industry.
yep,
And Vince, what did he say? Nah, I'm good. And he
yeah,
got in trouble. But Triple H has always been, sometimes he can be hit or miss. I
yeah,
love Triple H. Triple H
yeah,
is in my top five, 100%.
yeah,
I love Triple H. And
yep.
honestly, in my opinion, it's Stone Cold Rock Triple H in that order.
Mhm.
But he was listening to the fans back then, bro.
Yeah,
And every time,
I mean, he still is now. If
and
people
he
can,
said, every
you
time you listen to the fans, most of the time it goes right.
you could debate on now. Maybe he listens to the fans a little too much.
Yeah,
Um,
low
you know,
key.
but
It's time for
another
Cody to lose that belt, bro. But we'll talk about that. We'll talk about that another day, bro.
yeah.
It's time for Cody to. It got stale real quick.
We're gonna save this because I got a lot of thoughts on that. All right,
Okay,
I have a lot
okay,
of
that's a
thoughts on
whole
that.
nother one, bro. Because it's
So
getting
you guys,
stale.
yeah, you guys got to stay tuned on that. But the last thing, just about the curtain call, real quick, because I think it's important to say that the greatest character, I think. I don't know if you maybe you think that there. I'm not talking about top guy. I'm not talking about star. I'm not talking about person. I'm talking about character. The greatest character of all time has to be the Undertaker, and he carried kayfabe and protected his
Yeah, he did,
character
bro.
for his entire career. I
Yep.
mean, they showed in the documentary that they're
Mm-hmm.
filming something behind the scenes or whatever, and the dude's rolling his eyes, pretending to be a badass when nobody even was paying attention to the guy.
Bro, I
So,
thought Undertaker came with brothers, bro, all the way up to like damn near like high school, bro. I'm like, damn, these guys ain't real brothers, bro. Like I
bro, I
thought that
probably
these
thought
guys
yeah,
were
they
real
were still real
brothers.
brothers until 2010, dude. I mean,
Real talk, bro.
yeah.
Real talk. Like
So,
yeah, Undertaker definitely will probably like when it goes down as characters in wrestling history, he has to
yep,
be number one. He
yep,
has to be.
yeah. Well, glad we agree on that. I didn't know
We
if
we, we agree on that one.
yeah, glad.
It's gonna be a lot of stuff we agree on, bro. And it's gonna be some things we gonna be like, nah, bro.
Yep, yep.
But stand on your business though, Dylan. Stand on your business though, bro. For real, for real. But
And,
how y'all feel about episode? What's this? Episode 4?
yeah, episode 4, yep.
This
No,
episode?
episode 3. This is episode 3. This was, Screwjob. We were gonna kinda combine episode 3 and 4 in this one, but I think we had so much good stuff to talk about, we're just gonna keep it on episode 3.
Hey, and they
But
gonna tap in for the next one, y'all. Make sure y'all tap in for the next video.
yep.
Bad blood coming up too, man. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? So
make sure you guys also stay tuned too, because we are gonna be going live for the pre-show. Kinda just going over our full predictions for the show, so make sure you guys stay tuned for that. Join in too, we'll kinda interact with all you guys, kinda banter back and forth on what we think is gonna be going down, so
so it sounds like tomorrow gonna be a good plan, man. Tomorrow gonna be a good plan, man. But Go ahead and take us home, man. We talked about a lot of good stuff today.
All right, guys. So make sure you guys are smashing that like button too, and subscribe to the channel. Also, share our content, please. I mean, get
Share
this
it.
thing out there. If you guys know wrestling fans, if you are a wrestling fan, just share the content. Follow us on the IG as well. We do post a lot of stuff on there.
Thanks.
Make sure you guys follow that. Everything is at Run the Ropes Media, so everything's uniform. You don't got to be guessing. Run the Ropes Media, and that's it, guys. So, like I said, my name is Dylan,
Got your boy Break.
and we're out. Peace.
Peace.